afforded that Observer Ward, so even less vision now for CTY makes things even scarier because he doesn't always have the vision to see the supports approaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And once DK Phobos gets some more experience, it's always scary when an Earthshaker can sit in fog, hit you with a fissure, and then that can set up for G to maybe connect with some call downs, get the rocket barrage going, even queue up a homing missile, and that can force Storm to use his ultimate in a slightly different manner and make sure he's always got some available to get rid of that homing missile.
In the safe lane here, Illidan's up to a last hits. A little bit of harass on FNG. He's actually in trouble here. He uses the Shackle on DDC, and RGK with the dive is able to get in position for that. One of the most dangerous things about Phoenix is that at any point he can position himself in his advantage. He does lose 25 or 15% of his HP by doing this dive, but you know, in a situation like that where DDC alone puts him out of position, man, that's a super kill.
Yeah. So now Lanham rotating towards the mid lane with Lil nearby. They're just kind of duking it out in the jungle, not even leeching XP from mid, both at a very comparable amount of experience right now. G actually going for a homing missile-based build here, Purge. He's doing a 1-2-1. This is much different, though, following suit with the mid gyrocopter, which we have not seen a lot.
I kind of like this, because if Storm Spirit's not level 6, you're going to be able to super harass him, because at the moment it's a 250 damage nuke at maximum damage, the minimum. And I don't think it takes very long for the damage to hit full there. So he's just going to continuously spam these missiles on him. He's going to Bottle Crow to do this, I believe, and that's just going to keep CTY fairly low.
Yeah.
And put him in a good spot. He doesn't want to do it now because he can just stand next to the creep waves. But
ROTK almost goes down up top, but Illidan doesn't want to commit for it. The Arctic Burn enough to scare him back, and he will blink defensively. But having a pretty good time in this safe lane, staying very aggressive on this dual off lane here from I.M.O. Yeah, the rocket or the homing missile build is really difficult to deal with.
Kill top. DDC
Again?
might go down.
Oh yeah, here we go. Shackle.
Oh, it's
going to
be close.
Should be a kill. Illidan.
He's not.
Does he commit for it?
Big save.
The fire spirits.
FNG committing. Will he get the attack off? He doesn't.
Oh no.
My gosh, that was so close. I knew that as soon as the fire spirits hit Anti-Mage, he wasn't going to get an extra attack in, and he even had Cold Embrace there. Well, that was from the last kill. I think he leveled up, but. What an outplay. That was, I saw the blood as well from VP's perspective, but they just didn't quite have the damage. They almost got a double kill too, but they both got out.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's part of the power of the Phoenix there. The fire spirits do work against the anti-mage. So I wanted to comment on this Winter Wyvern. I noticed he put an extra point in the Arctic Burn, and DDC is the Winter Wyvern player that does this consistently. He maxes out Arctic Burn, and he is really the only top-tier competitive player that does this build. Most Winter Wyverns just go for that value point and put the points in the Splinter Blast. But he's committed to that low cooldown on being able to fly over the trees.
Yeah, it kind of comes down to how you play the hero, I think. If you go for Splinter Blast, you can counter-push a lot. If you get more Arctic Burn here, you increase the slow amount, and most importantly, the cooldown goes down massively. And the range goes up a lot, too, so it kind of gives you more safety to use Arctic Burn, really. And he can harass Illidan a bit more often with it. So as he gets more and more levels, his harass goes up, his range goes up, but his AoE is a bit poorer. And I guess the AoE is a bit unimportant in this game, if you think about it. Due to, like, I don't know, I feel like VP isn't going to group that much with the heroes they have. They blink forward, though, almost going for the body block on DDC. Yeah, because he missed that, no kill.
All right. Noble effort from VP, but their two supports will rotate back. They're paying it out as if they want to go for another attempt here. FNG still lingering nearby. He's got level 2 Shackles, or pardon me, level 2 Ethershock at the ready. Shackles as well.
Their Observer Ward is just watching these supports, though. They know where they are at all times. And they still aren't able to get in front.
Though it is just about to expire here, so that luxury will no longer be available for I.M.O. Still a great stool.
Will they dive this? I don't. This looks bad. They
Fire
missed so many
spirits.
spares.
Yeah, just one hit on FNG, and they will reset things. So, he's just moved into the jungle. He's stacking up all these camps here, giving CTY a lot of space now.
Interesting. He's even going to use Call On for this. He only has 1 level in Flax, so I think he does have to do this. Maybe he's fearing the support gank to mid. Looks like Rubik's been off the map for a long time. He's still only level 2. So it probably seems to his perspective that Rubik is just waiting to set that up because a Storm plus a Rubik is a very, very easy gyro kill. Much safer for him to just go to the jungle, even against top-tier players who can recognize that.
Yeah. Okay, so not too bad for G. Quite a good CS score right now, and actually farming ahead of the Storm Spirit, given that he's been able to stack this up. Looks like still a double stack here at this hard camp, or a medium camp, rather.
There's a lot of stacks, actually.
CTY just moves into the jungle now. Oh, yeah, they've got a double stack here.
And anything he doesn't kill will eventually get farmed by either Lina or Anti-Mage of the Battle Fury, so he's going to be completely fine with this. Maybe even Earthshaker as well. Earthshaker's actually doing pretty well. He's not remaining competitive with the Razor, but considering the matchup, he's got 19 or 20 CS now versus Razor's 37. I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, and the lack of rotations down this way means he's been able to get a lot of experience. He's almost level 7 and closing in on that soul ring. So all things considered, Phobos having a good time. Anti-Mage definitely not farming as well as he would like. Only 29 last hits. Not bad, but also not great.
And that's what happens against Phoenix. Your attack speed's reduced so much that you have to hard commit on one last hit, and you have to time it like 2 seconds in advance. It's very difficult. It'll be better once he gets treads, but for now, his attack speed's too low.
The net worth on this Shadow Shaman right now, Purge, 250. I felt like that needed to be a bug. That is just so unbelievably low.
That's FNG, man.
Yeah.
I don't think his Observer Ward got spotted, by the way. This Observer Ward was just slightly out of range on the left side. So I think he approached slightly like this and dropped it down.
Yep.
So I think he's going to get away with that. Usually those get punished because someone's already got the ward up. But they went for the safe ward on the left side. This may be obvious to you guys at lower skill levels, but almost nobody places this one at high levels because it doesn't give you the appropriate vision. They're going to find C2Y. Is this going to matter? Called on. Ooh, Light Strike Ray almost landing.
Oh,
he's
the cooldown actually did clip him, but they won't be able to follow up. Kind of a close call. You see him drawing on the mini-map there. Enemies inbound.
G's also given up on his max homing missile build, and I think it's good that he stopped on that, because at this point, Storm Spray can easily dodge that. It's not going to get him any more value in the mid lane, and in fact, I don't really think it did that much anyways. It did do some damage to C2Y and zone him a bit, but...
It would have been better to go with that build and then try to combo it with either the Lina or the Shadow Shaman to hit him with that first stun, and then go for kills that way.
It's so hard. It takes so long for it to come off the ground and eventually hit. They would need 2 extra stuns, I feel, for it to do the 3rd stun. Yeah. So, and I don't think Storm is going to fall for it if he ends up casting it first, let the missile hit him, and then have a support be around.
Yeah.
It's just, in most cases, it's just safer to take the damage if you don't know where the supports is. So I'm not too surprised. I mean, this might be a big issue later in the game, but they have like the perfect heroes for it. They have DDC, a Winter Wyvern that gets a lot of levels of Arctic Burn, so his range is going to be really high. He can deal with the missile. Storm is a ranged attack. Razor has a ranged attack. Rubik has a ranged attack. And they have a Phoenix. It's 5 ranged heroes. So these skill points, while it does give him some lane advantage, he could have more flat cannons. He could have more rocket barrage. He could have more stat levels. Any of that is probably better scaling into the mid game than what he's got. On the bright side, the cooldown is lower, but his mana pool is not what it used to be, and I don't know if he can afford that extra spam.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Another one of these carries that does have some mana issues. I.M.O are off to a pretty good start this game, though, holding on to a 2,000 net worth lead, even though VP have doing a good job stacking their jungle. I.M.O have been doing the same. Lots of stacks here that C2Y has been able to clear out. Lanham now halfway through level 4, and this Razor, he's almost level 9. He'll go for the mech, already has the headdress.
I almost wish he got a Midas here. His lane has been so passive. I mean, obviously he did have some slight contests from the Earthshaker, so getting the Midas would have given Earthshaker potential to go for the kill there. But
still, it feels like it would have been a good opportunity.
But at the same time, he's against an anti-mage. Does he really want to go late against an anti-mage? He probably doesn't, especially as a Razor. He's better off just going for the early game build, taking towers, and trying to get gold advantage that way, pressuring him.
Yep. I.M picks up his power treads now. Ring of Health, just beginning that slow quest towards his Battle Fury. ROTK also level 6 on the Phoenix. The Supernova's here. Rather underwhelming at level 1, but still some potential to secure kills if VP get aggressive. Now a smoke from Virtus Pro. Phobos, G, and FNG rotating into the jungle. Looks like they're hoping for the storm. Oh, did they go for the
distracts
courier?
Them. Oh, they got way too distracted from that.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate. Breaks the smoke, and Storm just heads back to safety. Yang also just TPs out.
That's just a really good place for Storm or any other farmer to be during that time period because there's just a little sliver of vision there. And any time that he casted Remnant, he would have been able to see outside of it. So, Plus the courier was there, also giving him vision. He also had an observer ward kind of close by. So they didn't get the kill, but they also did put an observer ward down from safety. So that is pretty good for them. They accomplished 2 things with that smoke instead of just 1. And though they didn't get the kill, they still get the ward down. So it's not the worst.
Now I.M, they try smoke of their own. 3 rotating up top on the backside of ROTK. Lanham, smoke will get broken. They go straight in. Telekinesis, Winter's Curse as well. Anti-Mage in a lot of trouble. They can't quite finish him off, but the Arctic Burn will do it. Or maybe it was just the
Ooh,
DOT from
Lanham's so
RTK. RTK in some trouble, but he will live through the call down. DDC probably going to go down next. Here's a beautiful cold embrace, but not quite enough to finish him off. The Echo Slam will do it. Supernova stuns on 2, sets up for CTY, who's now rotated up. They'll finish off the Gyrocopter. Lena caught by some... Nope, not the Fiery Soul, just the Sunray. They're still going to get her, though.
Good stun attempt, but it's so hard to stun where the storm's going. You just have to predict it perfectly.
Yep.
Some damage being done to ROTK, but he's got an Urn and a Wand. He's completely fine.
Okay.
Good try by VP. I mean, the Gyro got 2 heroes. But
it was a 3 for 3, so pretty much a break even there.
And they smoked for that, but they also lost their Anti-Mage and their Gyro, their 2 most important farm heroes. And Storm got out of there with 2 kills, and he still has a lot of CS. So I don't think that was, as a whole, good for VP, but they did exchange.
Yeah. CTY now in good shape. Number 1 on the net worth chart. He's got the Soul Ring. Looks like 1,000 gold in the bank. Probably just a Bloodstone build for him to get things started. In the mid lane, Lanham in some trouble, but does survive through telekinesis.
I don't know if he can go Bloodstone first this game, because he needs to deal with an Anti-Mage. And if he goes Bloodstone, it not only gives him a bigger mana pool that Anti-Mage can ult into, but it also limits his ability to just do an Orchid kill. So I feel like Orchid has to be the solution. There's a lot of stuns on VP as well, so maybe Orchid is the better solution to prevent one of them from happening if he finds any of those heroes. Like, he can kill Lena fine without Orchid, but Shadow Shaman is much, much harder.
Very true. Smoke rotation from VP.
Man.
Oh, there's just that little gap the Razor can walk through. And unfortunately for the Dire side, the Fissure didn't stun, so another wasted smoke from Virtus Pro that yields nothing.
If they placed this Observer Ward just a little bit more down, they would have known exactly where the Razor was and they would have killed him. Maybe they did this on purpose because it's very far away from this D Ward spot here, but I haven't seen anybody check that spot in the TI or during TI here because it's just too obvious.
Yeah. It's interesting how Ward mind games work, where you need to find these really interesting places, but sometimes going back to the obvious spots will throw people off guard because they're so obvious.
Yeah, surely they wouldn't put a ward there because they wouldn't expect me to de-ward that, therefore. Team fight coming from E-Home. Everybody's TPing in, but it looks like they figured it out. They're escaping, actually. Lil running. He's got a TP.
Oh, no. G and Lil, they're going to get caught. Lanham around the backside. ROTK as well. Icarus dive across. They're going to get Lil, and they want G as well. Can they actually dive this and finish him off? Nope, he's just too fast.
Yeah, he's way gone. No way they're going to get him.
So just a 1-0. They get the Lena. For the most part, good news for VP. They cut their losses, and they get the tower kill. Roster Wards are able to finish him off. So Lena for a Tier 1 tower. Not the best trade, but it is still a trade.
They do get the ward behind the tower. Pretty obvious that that would be down. As somebody takes a tower, the supports often rotate behind and drop the ward. So very common to check for that one. And DDC is able to get it. On the bright side for VP, the tower's already gone, so they didn't lose a huge amount by losing that. And they also destroyed the tower. They didn't even... Oh, they did use the Shadow Shaman wards.
Yep.
And that's what they got to do. They've got to use this cooldown when it's off cooldown, and they got to use it to take towers.
Yeah, all the while, Anti-Mage did get a little bit of space to farm there. And he has a Perseverance now, 1,000 gold, so it looks like he'll be able to get this Battle Fury at pretty decent timing.
It's late. It's definitely late. He's supposed to have it at like 12, 13 minutes. And he's,
well, even with Treads first?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Even with Treads first. Fisher's going to block in YJ, but Creep Wave's cleared. He had an Invis there. He was hoping he would come forward, but nothing. Also, Earthshaker's very close to his Blink Dagger here.
Ooh, Mech coming out on the Razor. Wow, Earthshakers can just do so much when they get this kind of farm early on. Like 15, 16-minute Blink Dagger. Such a good timing.
It's pretty good versus E-Home, too, because it'll give him a pretty good setup and chain stun for Storms. But he does pick up a point booster, so we will be going Bloodstone first.
Okay.
So I guess they're just not going to worry too much about the Anti-Mage. He's already moderately shut down. Like, I would say slightly shut down. He's slightly shut down right now. His Battle Fury is going to be delayed by like 4 or 5 minutes.
It's recoverable for him, though, I think.
It is, definitely. But normally, if an Anti-Mage has a Battle Fury at 12 minutes, he can get his Yasha in the next like 4 or something like that. And if Storm Spirit's at this point now, then it's looking kind of scary because he's going to be able to get Manta, and then if there's a stun, blink, Manta, then Storm Spirit just kind of dies. But because they shut down that Anti-Mage, I think Storm's okay going for the Bloodstone build.